not just talking to yourself. I'm hearing you. Well, that seems extreme.
Huh?
I was talking to Casey.
Like,
What up?
what's up? Yeah. I think we're looking good. Let's take a look at. Let's see. This border is locked. Now that I got you here. Hey, there we go. Nope. There we go. Lock those down. Zach, how are you?
Good.
Good. And we're live, by the way.
Cool.
Okay, just making sure you knew. Hello, everyone, and welcome to something that's completely different than what you're used to.
Yes.
Zach, you can't see. I'm sure you're not streaming us.
No, I have you up.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool. So you can actually react.
Yes, you are in frame.
You are in frame.
Yeah,
Hi, Casey. Whoops. No, it's fine. We won't do anything embarrassing. Whoa. For those who are confused as to why we look like we're doing something different, it's because we are. We are changing up the format of our podcast, where we are focusing not only on movies, but entertainment, funny stories, general topics. We're talking about whatever, Zach. We're getting more and more casual here. Whoa.
Yes.
So I thought, what is a better way to start off the first episode of the Good Goose podcast, Zach, which is what we're now officially called, than to learn a little bit about what's going on in the world and learn a little bit of some language. I need you to help me with my French, Zach, is what I'm alluding to.
We,
which is French for both of us. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I can't hear it.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Tell her she sucks. Haha. Don't tell her that.
Yeah, she didn't hear you.
Okay, good.
She said he said you're a wonderful person.
Yeah, she could definitely tell that that's the truth.
Oh, he definitely said that.
So Zach, what have you been up to? Let's just start off with that.
Yeah, just going through the motions, as it were. I literally just finished Moon Knight like an hour ago. So
tell me about it.
I
know we just said that we were not going to be talking about just movies, but
movies and TV, and here we are. First,
it's been a minute since we've talked about anything, so I think we might as well get that out of the way.
Yeah. So my feelings on Moon Knight are like, as a whole, I very much enjoyed it. I'm not sure how I feel about that last episode.
Really?
Yeah. The majority of it I like, and I think they set up some interesting things, obviously, by the end of it. But it does feel like the ending just sort of happens. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like there's
a lot that kind of just happened. I'll just get this out of the way. I was not a fan of the whole show, in fact.
Yeah.
Because it gave me this, I don't know, that it just kind of felt half cooked. It felt very much of a different level than what we were used to with the MCU shows. So I don't know. I don't know if you felt differently the last time we talked about Moon Knight. So
yeah, no, I still think on the whole I really enjoy it. you even mentioned that it was probably your least favorite MCU show
Yes.
so far. I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier probably takes that for me. And I liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier quite a bit. They were just on the whole more stagnant spaces, I guess, with Falcon and Winter Soldier than it felt like Moon Knight was to me. And I just like the different stuff they did with Moon Knight. It didn't really stick the landing, like with the internal psych ward or whatever was going on there.
I was like, at first I wasn't confused, and then I was confused for some freaking reason.
The more they kept going back to that, the more confusing it got. Especially in the last episode, you're like, okay, so is this his internal headspace? Because I thought this was like related to the afterlife, and what's going on here? Like, is
the final episode made it even more confusing?
Yeah. I don't know. They
there's a lot of loophole, or there's a lot of plot holes in the final episode too, with the appearance of.
Yeah. I've said before that the Moon Knight show is a very comic book show, and that you can feel it as just a comic book, the way it unfolds and the shot composition and just kind of the general back and forth of everything within it.
Right.
And even just the way the episodes break out, they feel very much like a 6-issue run on something. To the point where the ending of your 6-issue run is ripe with possible inconsistencies and things that will most likely get twisted as whatever comes next comes out.
Exactly.
You know? Just by virtue of the area of comic books, the medium, there's just always retconning and tweaking and adding. Like, oh, while this was going on 20 years ago, here's this new run of stuff, you know, and I get a very similar feeling with the setup at the end of Moon Knight, which isn't to say it's necessarily like terrible. It's just like for all the good things that I like about the comic booky feel of the show, it also brings in with it those same problems, those same drawbacks.
Right.
So on the whole, as I'm coming off of it, I still very much enjoyed it. I will probably actually go back and watch this one. I honestly feel like I have no real desire to go back and watch WandaVision. Maybe the first half, but I really just did not like that second half very much. I will probably go back and watch Loki at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I probably won't go back and watch. The performances are great, but I mean, there's not much. It's very Civil War-esque for me, in which they're like, I saw Civil War once, and I was like, yeah, that was a fine movie.
Yeah.
I didn't really feel any need to go back and watch it again.
Considering how big of a nexus point that kind of is for the rest of the MCU. But I mean, that all kind of ties into the movie I watched this weekend, and the stuff I watched leading up to it, speaking towards your wantingness to go back to WandaVision and Loki. You know, just speaking on, of course, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. They almost said Mountains of Madness. Which I thought was kind of funny. I woke up to the realization of this, that Multiverse of Madness, MOM, comes out, you know, Mother's Day weekend. I thought that was kind of funny.
They did plan that, obviously.
You think they actually planned that?
No, the movie was delayed like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So
But that's just kind of funny.
yeah.
And the fact that I did rewatch all of WandaVision. I did watch the last episode of Loki. I didn't feel compelled to watch the rest of it, even though I thought it was an enjoyable show. I think it was when we ranked them, it was like number 2 or number 1.
Mm-hmm.
But just to kind of get into the mind space of multiverse is happening. I didn't feel like rewatching No Way Home because I just watched it like twice in the last 6
Right.
months. So, but leading into like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and like you can see my review on my Letterboxd profile. If you need that information, I can put it down below in the info box if you're watching us on YouTube. But if you're watching us on Twitch live, thank you so much for watching us. Make sure to follow us. All the good things. Tell your friends. Tell your family. We're here at twitch.tv/GoodGooseInc. We will be recording every Saturday, hopefully. And if you're wondering where are we, because we're not on Twitch on Saturday, you're obviously not following us on socials at Twitter.com/LCNpod, which I am in the process of remedying to a actual to make it more seamless, because we're going from Lights Camera Nonsense to Good Goose Inc. here. But make sure to follow us. Again, all the information is going to be down there. We are going to be recording this podcast each and every week, talking about what's on our mind and what's going on in the world. I had an intro written down, but I obviously was so busy trying to set up everything else that I think I closed it out. I need to rewrite it. So, that's the thing. But getting back to it, I won't go too much into it, Zach. But Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, we kind of talked about it as soon as I got out of the movie theater.
Yeah.
Just being kind of okay. It's not a bad movie. It is very much kind of leading into what you were talking about earlier about how Moon Knight is definitely a comic book series. Like it's a 6-issue run. And which is kind of odd because they hint at a second season, even though they don't have any plans on like greenlighting it, as far as we know. Like I feel like they would have said that by now.
Well, in fairness, I believe, and I think we've talked about this before, the writers and directors of Loki.
Michael Walter is one of the writers.
They did not know they were going to get a second season until like the second to last episode, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's why they had the post-credits scene. But initially, they had everything just kind of set to wrap up as is with that last episode. So I think that's kind of the strategy they're taking right now in determining of whether or not a show is going to have a second season or if it's going to lead into a movie like WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Right.
So, we'll have to wait and see what the general feeling is on Moon Knight.
But there's a big difference because, like what you said, they didn't know until the second to last episode, but we're finished with the series. We moved on from Moon Knight to Doctor Strange, and then we will move on to Thor, Love and Thunder, and then we will move on to Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
So the fact that we have, that literally no one, at least no news outlet, has come out and said that, they're thinking about it, they're hinting at it, they're planning on it, or they're already writing it, or they're in pre-production, whatever. And so it's just like, why waste? They're wasting the momentum of the show's success, as tepid as it was. And the same thing goes for finishing my thought a second ago with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. This is very much a comic book movie in the fact that not only were there so many prerequisites to lead into this movie. Like, if you go into this movie being, I watched this movie or I watched Avengers Endgame, whenever it came out, but I don't really follow TV shows. I don't have to. You're going to be totally lost. You're not going to know what is going on because from the opening frame, it starts off and you are following something. You are following a different Doctor Strange. You are following a totally new character, and then it leads into Wanda after the storyline of Westview. And while they hint at it in the movie itself, they don't go into it, but it is still a continuation of her story from Endgame to WandaVision to this movie. And I don't want to say too much more without spoiling it for you, Zach, because I know you're at least somewhat interested because you're committed to it. But to kind of rationalize my opinion on it, it's very much a comic book movie in the fact that there's prerequisites and that it is a comic book looking movie too. Sam Raimi, the director, who you may know from the Evil Dead franchise if you're older, or Oz the Great and Powerful if you're younger, but you're still like, who is? I mean, that was his last directorial.
There's like, but even if you're younger, there's no way that your knowledge is based off of Oz the Great and Powerful.
Well, it was 9 years ago.
You would have gone back and watched one of the earlier Spider-Man movies.
That's true. That's true. And you get that. You get this. Sam Raimi has a very specific style, and this is what we were kind of talking about forever ago when the first Ant-Man was in the process and Edgar Wright was attached, and the studio and him kind of butted heads on their creative vision. That was a different Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
And now it's now they're very much with Phase 4 trying to get the director's specific vision to come out. You know, they have a very different vibe and look with Eternals and Shang-Chi, with what is the other movie? No Way Home. You know, I know that's kind of an extension of that's just John Watts, you know, finishing his trilogy, but they all feel different. The same thing with the Disney Plus shows. And this is very much a Sam Raimi movie first and an MCU movie second.
Okay.
There are huge elements of horror. There's huge elements. He uses the same camera angles that he's used in every movie. You get the Zach. I know you're familiar with the filming technique that he did with Evil Dead, specifically like attaching a camera to like a plank of wood and manually doing it.
Yes,
there is a couple of shots in this movie where he does something like that, which is interesting because the technology has changed and you don't think that someone would necessarily use that kind of shot. But
wasn't that a thing with the newer Evil Dead? Didn't he specifically, or maybe I'm misremembering, I thought there was a thing where he specifically did that shot similarly to how he did it in the original.
Yeah, but he didn't direct the new Evil Dead movie.
Oh, he didn't? Who was that?
2013 remake? Yeah, he didn't do that one. He did the... oh, you're out of focus.
Yeah, I know. Fucking light.
No.
There we go.
There we go. No, Fede Alvarez, who also directed...
oh, that's right, yeah.
Oh, crap. What is that movie? Not Get Out. Don't Breathe. He also directed Don't Breathe. But they are producing an Evil Dead TV series, which he is like very much hands-on with. He's again not the director, but he's very much attached to that. But going back to Doctor Strange 2, it's a Sam Raimi movie first, because it's the way he wants to tell the story, for better or worse, because there are some stylistic cinematography choices that are kind of like, what are you doing? And it's very inconsistent. But what I don't like the most about this movie, and I'm not hating on this movie because it's still a serviceable superhero flick, lots to enjoy, but what I do not like is the dialogue being absolutely atrocious in certain parts of this movie.
That's not good.
Like characters saying what they're doing as they're doing it, kind of thing. Yeah, and this is from the same writer as the Loki TV series, which I find really interesting. And he also wrote
interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. It also comes in short at 2 hours and 6 minutes. I know that's like short. What are you talking about? It's 2 hours. It's shorter for a Marvel movie. And while it is PG-13, it is a very, very loose PG-13. There are some very graphic, violent moments in this movie. And I'm not saying like, oh, don't take your kids to go see the kids are going to want to go see it, and they're going to find a way to go see that movie anyway, because it's a superhero movie. But it's all right. It's as the movie went on, I was my smile like, yeah, another MCU movie. I'm super excited to be back in theaters to see this. gradually just kind of like lowered into okay.
Is that more of a statement on the quality of the movie or your feelings on the MCU in general? Because if you were going to say that you're having MCU or just superhero fatigue, I don't think anyone would blame you. There's been a shit ton of those movies.
Well, yeah, no, and we were talking about this again in our group chat about how the same thing was happening when Moon Knight was continuing to go on and on, and people were like ranting and raving about all these awesome parts of Moon Knight. And I was just going, I mean, it's all right. You're not getting as much as you got from Loki or from WandaVision. You're not the week to week discussion of this show wanes drastically. Like I didn't feel like talking about this show with people I love talking about comics.
Yeah.
So.
Well, in that regard, I think like at least with something like Loki, you know, it was so kind of nuts, right? That it was easier to have a discussion than it was with Moon Knight. A lot of times, I think a discussion about Moon Knight would devolve into, did you like it? Yeah, I liked it. Did you like it? No, not really. So, like, there was an episode where they were just kind of, it was like a Tomb Raider or Indiana Jones style adventure into a tomb with a date background on it, you know, like, so there's not really much you could discuss there other than like a sort of will they, won't they romance going on there.
Right. Well, you get that with The Lost City. You know, you got Sandra Bullock, and
there's
always going to be those kinds of movies, but they will always feel different because of the vast possibilities. They don't have a formula necessarily. They don't have a back catalog of comics and fandom to build up the not suspense, but build up the hype basically for whatever the next entry is. And even the mid-credits scene for this movie, which I won't get into, I was just kind of like, I mean, that was one of those big leaks that was going around. And it's even like on social media right now, it's all you have to do.
People do not waste any time about talking about spoilers of this movie.
They were doing it before the midnight release because there was quite a few fan screenings on Tuesday night, and even before that, where people were coming out and saying like, oh, this is, they weren't really outright spoiling it, but like even Wednesday night,
there's a lot of care to avoid spoiling. Yeah. And I think that probably has a lot to do with the same feeling that you're having just in general about these movies and shows. So it gets tiring, having to one, keep track of almost 30 fucking things, not even counting outside stuff like the Netflix television shows or fucking Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever. We've well past 30 at that point. It's just trying to keep up with that, and then having on top of like, oh well, it's the first 2 weeks of a movie being out. I got to be careful about having spoiler discussions about this on Twitter or whatever. Like, people just get tired of it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think after Endgame, everybody was just kind of collectively like, other than there was a good, man, my camera is really, it's the light behind me.
Yeah.
Let me see.
He lives in a bright, bright world, everyone, and there he goes. This is stuff you're supposed to do before the podcast. I'm just saying. I know he can still hear me. Can he? Look at all the pets he's got. He's got a dog there on the couch. He's got some birds. He's got a better setup than I do. Look at this blue thing. What is this? What's behind here? Huh? I got a cat cam. We could go to the cat cam. Cat! Oh, he's asleep. Whoops. I need to clean my bed.
Yes, I still can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Whoops.
Yeah, like even with Spider-Man, you had a little bit of that
Oh,
carryover from Endgame of like, oh, be careful about spoiling. It's just because it was like this huge event sort of thing.
Mhm.
I don't think people really felt that way about Doctor Strange, and I don't think going forward there's going to be a whole lot of that. And even with Guardians, I could kind of see it maybe happening, but probably not either. I think after Endgame, we really hit the point of if you're interested in this, like really interested in it, you're probably going to see it opening weekend, and then just be part of the discussion.
Yeah. Well, and there's such a huge cast of actors that they have like signed on for these roles, and they have only so many movies they can put out every year, so they end up smushing them both together. I mean, we get Thor: Love and Thunder this year with Guardians being in it. I know they're not going to be in it for the entirety of it, but it'll definitely pull away the attention from Thor being the main character of that movie. Same thing with Doctor Strange 2. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a Doctor Strange movie. It doesn't even feel like a sequel to Doctor Strange 1. And granted, there was quite a few movies that were in between Doctor Strange 1 and Doctor Strange 2, where Benedict Cumberbatch, was playing the character. But at the same time, those still felt like he was in the universe of which Doctor Strange 1 took place, whereas this one feels quite a bit different. It has a different tone, it has a different pace. It's, like I said, a Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah.
So go into it cautiously optimistic. There's still fun things about it. The CGI is pretty good. The music is very Danny Elfman, which will throw you off. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a specific moment in the soundtrack where he uses like a guitar lick where he's like, and I'm like, where the fuck is this coming from? Like, totally, it makes no sense, even in the scene.
Maybe it's the multiverse Danny Elfman who uses guitars instead
one
of...
one who stayed in Oingo Boingo and never
Yes.
did like the back. So yeah, it's fine. I've watched plenty of other movies in between when we last met up for Lights Camera Nonsense and today. I could definitely tell you that there is a much more enjoyable, no offense to Doctor Strange 2, much more enjoyable multiverse movie that is still in theaters that you can go see, and that's Everything Everywhere All at Once. People are literally like, and I'm not saying you should fall into the hype, but there are people who are, praising it as one of their favorite movies of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Michelle Yeoh is fantastic in it, and I highly recommend that. I know we talked about it in the last episode, but good movie, and that's still out. So give independent cinema a chance. Zach,
Yes.
what else have you been up to?
Well, I got some birds.
Oh yeah, I
those
saw that.
guys over there.
What are the names again?
There's a green one over there. He's Frodo.
Okay.
He's a bit of a punk. He screams a lot.
Ah!
Yeah. And then there's a blue one named Samwise. We call him Sam.
So you went with Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Did you end up naming them, or was that?
So the naming thing was actually really funny because when we got them, we were told that they were fairly certain that they were girls, that they were both female birds. And apparently female parakeets, which these are budgies, are a little bit more chill than male birds or male parakeets. So we're like, okay, we'll go with the female budgie, and we initially named them. Trying to think of Casey's name. Kate.
Kate?
Yeah. So we each named one. So she initially named hers Kate, and mine was named Zelda. And then, upon further research, we discovered that they are most likely male. So we pivoted on the name, and we just went with Frodo and Sam because we're starting to think of like good pair names. So we were thinking of like Woody and Buzz, or there was There's a book one that she suggested that I can't think of.
I'm trying to think. Probably like something from like Darkling and Alina, or Alina and Val.
She wouldn't. She's not. She's not that into Shadow and Bone. She wouldn't do that.
Well, I'm just going off of like books that I recently read, which was months and months ago.
Yeah.
Read books. Read more books, folks.
So yeah, eventually we went with Frodo and Sam because we both like Lord of the Rings. So
well, there you go.
Yep, that's a little budgie right there that you got up on the screen.
Budgie update.
Yes, budge update, budge date.
They're actually pretty quiet. I'm not hearing like any of them.
Right now they're quiet, and it's probably because I'm talking. So parakeets actually respond very well to noise. Not like a lot of racket, because that stresses them out, but they like hearing you talk to them. They like hearing music. They like TV background, that sort of thing. It just keeps them kind of entertained. So they're probably quiet now because I'm talking. I mentioned Frodo's a bit of a punk. He will get very protective. We got a new bird cage that's coming because we think this one's too small. So we're going to be transferring them over into a bigger one.
How big do budgies get? Let's see.
They stay about the size you got up there.
Oh, okay. I didn't
they don't get very large.
Oh, their lifespan is not super long either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you take care of them, then they'll stay alive for like 7-9 years.
Yeah, that's about what it was saying.
Yeah.
From the kingdom Animalia, from the phylum Chordata.
That's it.
From the order Cetacipformes, and from the family Cetaculidae.
Yeah, that's it.
Australia.
Yes, they are Australian birds.
Crikey.
To the point they like temperate climates, so our house is actually a little bit warmer than it was before. It's taken some getting used to. However, because it's so freaking humid in Texas lately, every time I walk into the house, it still feels like it's freezing comparatively.
Yeah.
So that's that. The only problem is at nighttime when I'm trying to sleep and I'm like, I have to have a bucket next to my bed just so I can like turn over and like rinse myself out.
Ew, really?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, like, do you have a fucking sweat bucket right next to your bed? That's gross. No,
I do
thank you.
not have a sweat bucket. But anyway, yeah, we're getting a bigger cage because Frodo gets kind of protective around food. So the cage we're getting has the ability to be one full big cage, but then it has a partition in the middle that you can pull up. So Sam can have his space he's way chiller. It's actually kind of crazy how on point the names turned out to be.
Oh, really?
With Frodo just like because when he gets protective of his food, he'll just start squawking, which is in parakeets and budgies. That generally means they are stressed or they need their space, and they're communicating that to their cage mate as like, hey, this is kind of my area, vacate it.
You did a lot of research for this.
Yeah, we wanted to be really prepared because we've never owned birds. Well, Casey's mom owned birds, but Casey never really was like part of. She had moved out by the time that her mom got those birds.
Right.
So we've never owned birds, and we didn't want to just like get birds and not know how to take care of them. So like the last month has been all like researching like the specific sounds of like all their squawking and chirping and whatnot and what that means, and making sure that they have the right. We just got some cilantro, which apparently budgies really like, so we're gonna get to hang that up. We also have some millet that we've been getting, but that's you're supposed to only give that sparingly as a sort of treat, and I guess cilantro is a little bit healthier for them. So,
are you? I don't know if we've talked about this, but are you a cilantro like?
I love cilantro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Good. You're normal. You're a good person.
Yeah,
I like
think
to judge people based on their cilantro preference. Yeah. something totally out of their control.
Better that than the Diet Coke difference.
Well, and here's the thing. That's because I'm on the other side of it. I actually drink like Diet Coke or Coke Zero. I mean, I drink more Coke Zero than Diet Coke, which is why I have this. This is
but you
a
can
large
taste the difference, right?
Yeah, I know the difference. I can taste the difference. It's just like normal Coke tastes awful. Like it tastes like just sugar.
Yeah, no, it's battery acid.
Yeah.
Legit, it's just battery acid.
And yeah, I mean, even Coke Zero. Like we're gonna keep bringing it up. Even Coke Zero. Oh, don't show the brand.
Coke Zero.
Like not even. And sorry, it's Coke Zero sugar. It's not Coke Zero. It's Coke Zero sugar. And that's because they're trying to hint that like this is what regular Coke is without all the sugar. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'll drink Diet Coke if they don't have Coke Zero. Because I grew up on it. I'm just used to it.
Yeah.
But I know the difference. I know, like, when people say, ooh, you drink Diet Coke, I'm like, yeah. I shouldn't even be drinking regular Coke because I'm old. Yeah, I should be drinking tea or water or literally anything else.
Yeah.
But literally everything you drink or eat in the world is bad for you. So.
It's like when I get a Monster, what's the one I make sure to always get? Oh, the white can 0-calorie one.
Yep.
Because if I'm going to have a Monster, then I
want to have the one that's like the healthiest. I'm the exact same way. Like I'll only get the white Monster because I know the regular Monster tastes like I'm literally melting myself from the inside out. Whereas the white one is just like, this is the literal Coke Zero version of Monster. So
yes.
if I have to have an energy drink.
Will I elevate my heart rate to dangerous levels? You bet. But 0 caffeine.
Oh my God. Let me tell you about having a Monster in your system while also taking a hit of D10 or D8.
Jesus.
It's a ride, man. It's not something you should ever do. Don't do that. Especially if you're going to be driving, don't do that. Please drink responsibly. I know you shouldn't have to say that for a Monster, but like if you're going to be consuming anything else, please don't. Budgie. So what made you want to get budgies in the first place? Sorry, yeah, go back.
The bird thing came around because initially Casey was like, hey, and she's brought this up several times. Just at this point, she was it was more of a, like, I'm letting you know this will happen, as opposed to, what do you think about this? And that is, hey, I've been really wanting a snake lately. I really want one.
What
the fuck? I said, I don't want a snake. So we're a little bit
dogs. You still have dogs, so like, why the fuck do you want a snake?
So then eventually she was like, okay, well, if you were to decide between a snake and a bird, which would you like? And I'm like, bird, obviously. Yeah. I like birds. So
the birds won't want to bite me.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes these parakeets are actually really chill. They can be skittish, so we're still kind of dealing with that since they're still adapting to a new environment. They're very skittish with us, but we're getting there. But they do not try to bite. At least ours have not tried to bite us, and we've had our hands in the cage and just kind of trying to acclimate them to us being around and being in their space and them being in ours. So yeah. That's why we have birds now. Is I was given an ultimatum between snakes or birds, and I said bird.
Wait, snakes is in multiple snakes? She wanted to get multiple snakes?
Well, one for starters, but I wouldn't be surprised if eventually she wanted more. So yeah, our house is just turning into a zoo. At some point, we want to get a cat. I don't know when that's going to happen.
And you can have Marley. Look, we'll go back to the cat now. Hey, Marley. I need to do my bed.
Is this a cam or the producer cam?
It's kind of both. He's asleep right now, so he's not a producer. He's a cat. He's producing Z's. That's clever. I was off the top of my head. I'm really glad I came up with a little cat. Oh, hold on. There you go. A little high five for myself.
Bird experience goes on. we're having fun with that. What do you got going on?
Well, I mean, so I have been watching a lot of movies ever since the last time we talked, but we let's move past it. It's fine.
We're in a post-movie world.
We're in a post-movie world where movies don't exist. They
Yeah.
were outlawed.
The movie arc has been finished. It's now the general arc.
The general arc. But I've been learning French is one of the things. I'm on a streak of I don't know how many days. I think 24, 25.
This is on Duolingo.
Duolingo. I have it pulled up right now. Just been learning, so I'm not very far, but like I have learned a couple of phrases and words.
What made you pick French?
My roommate, my Russian supermodel roommate, is trying to learn French, and they kind of challenged me, like, "Hey, do you want to do this? I'm doing this." I'm like, all right. I kind of want to just to say I know another language, and French is not one for one to English, but there are a lot of like similarities between the way that they structure sentences, the way context is played around. Spanish obviously would have been too obvious. Should be drinking soda. But because they were learning French, it would be like a cool challenge to like greet each other in French or whatever.
Well, especially if you have somebody that you're actively talking to in that language, it exponentially helps with learning a new language.
Yeah.
Way more than just having to devote your own singular time to looking at the app or whatever. That's why they say, like, if you want to really learn a new language, just move.
Yeah, move to another country.
And you're gonna have to learn. So.
Yeah.
Un chat et un garçon.
But that's cool, man. I've always wanted to kind of delve into those language learning apps, and I downloaded Duolingo like a couple of years ago, and I did a few lessons, and I just bounced off, obviously. And
the whole thing is like I try to find little challenges, and the best thing, the analogous comparison is so off, but having like a daily like requirement to give myself, like I've been playing Genshin Impact for the last year and a half, 2 years, off and on. Right now off because not only is development for 2.7 slowed to a halt because of the pandemic becoming really bad in China where the developer works, and so they're in lockdown, and so they can't develop the game, and so literally they can't update it. But also because I'll just log in and do dailies so I can earn currency to like unlock things each day,
Yeah.
And so I do the same thing. I apply that same logic to to Duolingo, and I'm like, okay, I'll just challenge myself to learn enough to where it says lesson complete, and that continues my streak, which is why I've been able to do it for so many days in a row. I just know I'm gonna have one day where I just never get out of bed. I didn't wake up until like 10:30 a.m. this morning. I woke up at like 7 because this bad cat.
So.
But I was able to go back to sleep because I don't have a lot of things I have to do today. So, but I woke up at 7 because my cat wouldn't shut up about like, hey, empty my litter box and hey, feed me. And all right, fine, I'll be a good pet owner. But like things like that get me out of bed. Like, oh, I need to take care of this. I need to do chores. I need to do Duolingo for 10 minutes, not even, to finish the requirement. So, yeah, that's just basically what I've been up to. That and watching TV. Watching Billions. I've been watching Billions with my roommate, by the way.
Which was that?
That is the one with Damian Lewis and Paul Giamatti. And it's about a billionaire hedge fund manager going face-to-face with a U.S. district attorney played by Damian Lewis and Paul Giamatti, respectively. And there's twists and turns. It's very much a very serious, dramatic version of kind of Succession, where Succession was kind of more of a comedic, dark comedy.
Yeah.
It was more serious. Whoa. So yeah, I mean, that has been interesting. I've kind of had to like motivate myself to continue watching it on certain days because
Mm,
it is a very two characters talking about like finance and shit.
right.
And so it's not like dragons or wizards or, like sci-fi espionage kind of thing. It's something else. But I mean, it's another consistency that I've been giving myself because there are literally so many different shows to watch, and I'm trying to watch them all, and I can't.
You're just gamifying every aspect of your life.
I really am.
You got to get your dailies in for literally everything.
And that's what takes up a majority of my day, and it's unfortunately it can cause certain days to feel like ruts, but that's living.
That's sure, yeah. It's certainly a statement on how you view life.
Well, okay, so answer me this, riddle me this, Batman. When was the last time you felt like you had too much time left in your day?
Too much time?
Yeah, too much time. The answer is never.
Never.
Yeah, the answer is never because that's not possible. Let's go to. I'm here on Reddit. We'll just go to iBleach. But yeah, let's just loop that. Can I loop that? I just want to loop the dog. But yeah, I feel like I don't have enough time in the day to. Yeah, I know what time it is.
Oh, you're talking about time.
Talking about time. Not enough of it.
What is that?
A big fluffy dog.
A floof? Oh my gosh, that's cute.
That's so fucking adorable. Okay, I have this also pulled up. Am I the asshole? You want to do one of these?
Yeah, for sure. I love this subreddit.
It's so great because it's like you're not a part of any part of what's going on, and so you have like this outside, like, yes, let me give this opinion. Let me give my opinion that definitely won't sway or change.
Yes.
Or you could pop if you actually do answer. Am I the asshole for getting mad I wasn't invited to my ex-wife's wedding?
Yep.
That's your first one?
I have to read the post. Yes, you're an asshole. Why would you get mad about that?
You want to do? Let's try to do something more complicated then. That one's easy. Okay. Am I the asshole for taking my dogs out in my PJs?
No, because I do that.
You do?
I do.
You have such a weird, like, why though?
Because I don't want to change. If I have PJ body, what do you mean by PJs? Let's contextualize PJs for me.
Okay. I know that's a weird title, so here's the situation. I live in an apartment building that has a small fenced-in dog park that is right behind my building/apartment. One of my dogs will wake me up early in the morning having to go potty. I used to go through the window to get to the park. What?
It's like open up your back window. Like,
yeah,
all right.
Especially if they're on like the second floor, like shut their dog out, like crawl.
Like a freaking Adam West Batman rappelling down the side of the building.
But after an instance of one of the cats getting a tad too curious of the outside world, I didn't do that much anymore in fear of losing our mentally challenged black cat in the dark outside. So I just walk around the building to the park now, like a normal person. Now, these times of my dog waking me up usually happen around 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. Then I will take them out again when I get up for work at 7:30 a.m. Let me just, this is why I'm not a dog person either, is because I don't want them fucking up with my sleeping schedule like this. My cat can go to the bathroom whenever he wants, at any time of night or day.
So I will say, I don't know this person's life. I don't know what work schedule they have, or anything like that.
Well, they go to work at 7:30 a.m. So this is like at the beginning of their sleep. If they get
right, like if they have like time in the middle of the day to come home for lunch and take their dog out or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
The way our dog potty time breaks out too is morning is I will take them both out. I actually get to take Bella to work with me. So I just take Limo out, and then as I'm going down to the car, I'm taking Bella with me, and she goes to the bathroom before I load her up and take her to the office. If that's a day I go into the office.
Right.
And that's usually around like 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I'm home that day, then I'll take him out for. We live on the third floor in case he has back problems, so I'm usually the one that has to take them both out.
Right.
If I'm home, then I'll usually take them out around noonish or so. But otherwise, they'll go until like 2, and we'll take them out then. And then, depending on how demanding they are, they either go out like around 6 or 8. And if it's 8, that's usually the last time they go out. If it's 6, they usually have to go out again before bed around midnight. Mm-hmm. But they do not wake us up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. So, again, I don't know what this person's time frame is. Or, you know, I don't know the extenuating circumstances. But usually if your dog is waking you up to go to the bathroom, it probably means they're not going out enough anyway.
Right.
Which, you know, to your point, you don't want dogs. You live in an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of having a dog in an apartment.
On the third floor, too. Which,
yeah.
And are you on the third floor? I can't remember.
Yeah, we're on the third floor.
So you and I both know the context of having to, like, all right, let me get my shoes on, and then you got to walk down the flights of stairs, and you got to walk back up them, and this is, like, super late.
You're coming back up, you're like, fuck, I need to work out more.
Yeah, well, I've got the legs. I got good legs. I got good hands.
Well, you're fine. It's the stomach.
Yeah, no, you're getting the exercise for your legs, but you're not getting them for your stomach. You got to do some like mini crunches when you're walking up and down the stairs. You know,
like do some arm curls with the dog.
Pick up your dog and like just do some curls there. And this person is talking about like one of my dogs and one of my cats. So they have multiple dogs and cats, which I feel is already too much. Especially if they live in an apartment complex. Let's just move on. Usually no one is out or awake at this time, and my dog gets excited and will bark whine when I get to put her harness on. Common screaming husky. So it's a husky. Again, it's a breed you should not have in an apartment. Just saying. So I usually try to rush out the door. This means I'm wearing my PJs, baggy shirt, and PJ pants. So probably something what you're doing.
Yeah, okay. I'll wait for you to finish, but yeah, I'm forming a conclusion here in my head already.
And just throw on my shoes and jacket and go. I'm a very large-chested woman.
I'm not that, so.
So you can tell I'm not wearing a bra, but nothing is showing. Are you wearing a bra when you go out, Sam?
No.
Like you should.
I don't need a bra because unfortunately I'm very flat-chested.
Yeah, lucky you. Like you got the stomach, but no tits. Come on. Join me. Regardless of the temperature outside, I put the jacket on just to add another level of coverage. Like I said, usually no one is out at these times, but one of my neighbors just got a girlfriend who stays with him most of the time, and she leaves around 7:30, 7:45 time slot. That means that I run into her on occasion while taking my dogs to the park, and I just do the friendly nod, greeting, and walk by. I ran into her today, and I was rounding the corner of the building. She scowled at me and went back inside. Well, this morning, after I had done my usually routine with my pups, I got 2 texts from my landlord. It was a mass text stating that summer is coming, please dress in an appropriate fashion in the common areas. And another just towards me claiming that someone reported me for indecent exposure in the dog park. And she wants to meet with me ASAP to get my side of the story. What should I do? What should I say? Am I the asshole for not wearing putting on a bra for when I'm outside for like 10 minutes? Is this legitimate or blah, 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 blah?
So, first response. That person needs to mind your own fucking business. And I'm glad at least, I mean, this person who posted this, obviously, they probably posted it like hours ago, and they're obviously not watching this. So they're not going to get my expertise, as it were. However, it's good that your landlord is wanting to talk to you to get your side of the story. Because if all you're doing is wearing like a tank top, essentially, who fucking cares? Like, mind your own goddamn business. Like, nobody fucking cares. Like that's ridiculous. The complainer who doesn't even live there fucking cares, I guess. But that's ridiculous. However, that would be something I would bring up in that conversation. Like, why are you listening to non-residents? Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
2, no, you're not an asshole for going out in your PJs. Anyone says that, they're a douchey busybody who needs to get over themselves. I go out in my PJs all the time for the same fucking reason. I'm gonna put on pants at midnight. Fuck off.
No, I completely understand. I'm totally with you. And the context for this one is, yeah, the other person's a Karen who doesn't even live there, and they should just take that. Oh, okay, yeah. And they have no context whatsoever, and so they sent out this mass text to the entire apartment complex saying, "Hey," and my apartment complex just does the exact same thing. If someone has like something stupid hanging off the balcony, or they have a non, porch type of chair on their balcony or whatever, you get reported for not having the appropriate like furniture.
Yeah.
I'm like, seriously, this is what you guys want to like focus on instead of, I don't know, keeping the gym open 24/7 like you said you would.
So on the one hand, yes, that is annoying. On the other hand, I'll take that over your complex just blatantly ignoring the fact that people have their fucking, like their grills out front.
Yeah.
That's where I draw the line. I don't want you fucking. And this is coming from someone who just less than a year ago, the building behind theirs, not in this complex, but the previous place that we moved from, blew up partially because somebody was grilling and left it going on their back patio.
Yeah.
Just fucking left it, and then it got out of hand. It spread to the adjacent apartments, and then the propane tank exploded. And, like, you could literally hear the pop go. So that is where I will draw the line. Is dangerous shit like that. But yeah, fucking stuff hanging off of your balcony, like towels or whatever. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Who fucking cares?
Oh, it's the appearance. It's to sell the apartment. Whatever, man. Let people live their life.
What's the difference between sweatpants and PJ bottoms? Nothing.
No. Yeah, nothing.
There's nothing. There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
It's like people complain about the stupidest shit.
Call me a prude. Call me a prude. But if the context was different, if she was like obviously in like just like a fucking bra and panties or whatever, and she was taking her dogs out, I would be like, I don't know about that. But she said PJs at the start of this, so PJs are different.
I think
people
there's
call different things PJs.
For me, I don't know. Maybe my barometer is just really low. If I saw someone in their underwear, that would be like that was fucking weird.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a story from now on.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna talk about the time I took my dogs out at 2 a.m. in the morning and saw some dude just like in his boxers, just hanging out. The line would be if he was not wearing boxers. He was just hanging brain.
Yeah.
Like, that would be the problem. Like, I don't want to see that, but
that would be a definite issue for sure. I think let's just go ahead and wrap it up there, Zach. We hit the let's end it on hanging brain and this cute little dog. Thank you so much. What?
Little floof.
The floof. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching us live on twitch.tv/goodgooseinc. And if you didn't and you're watching us on YouTube, thanks so much for watching us on YouTube in our video format. It's the best way to watch our content. And if you're not following us or liking us or subscribing to our channel, go ahead and hit those corresponding buttons. We really do appreciate it. It shows how much you are willing to watch our content in the future, and it shows how much we need to focus on making our content even better in the future for you guys, for an audience. So with that being said, all of the info for how to follow us will be down in the description. Let's I had it. Hold on. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.